I had always believed that some people carried storms inside them. Quiet storms, hidden storms, until someone brave enough walked close and heard the thunder. I didn't know that one day I would be the one to hear hers. Her name was Elena Ward, and she was the kind of girl who slipped into a room like a whisper, unnoticed by most but unforgettable to the few who truly saw her. She transferred to our school in the middle of October, arriving with a single backpack and a gaze that was always somewhere far away. The first time I saw her was in English literature class. She sat in the last row, eyes lowered, fingers tapping nervously on the edge of her desk. Our teacher, Mrs. Herman, introduced her with her usual enthusiasm. "This is Elena. She has transferred from Ridgefield. Please make her feel welcome." Elena nodded stiffly, not looking at anyone in particular. She seemed fragile, not physically, but in that invisible way that made you feel like any loud noise might shatter her completely. At first, I didn't pay much attention to her. I had my own life, my own friends, my own worries. But sometimes fate nudges you with things you don't understand right away. And one rainy afternoon, fate nudged me hard. I was heading toward the library after school, hoping to finish a late assignment, when I noticed someone sitting on the bench behind the building. It was raining lightly, but the girl sitting there didn't seem to care. It was Elena. She sat with her back hunched, jacket soaked, hands clasped so tightly her knuckles were white. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying for a long time. Something inside me hesitated. I could have walked away. I could have pretended I didn't see her, but I didn't. I walked toward her. "Hey, you okay?" She flinched as if I'd startled her. Then she quickly wiped her eyes. "I'm fine." The most obvious lie I had ever heard. "You're sitting in the rain," I said quietly. She shrugged. "It's okay. I like the rain." Another lie. She was shivering. I sat down beside her anyway. She looked at me with those tired, distant eyes. There was something broken there. Something old, something heavy. I didn't push. I didn't ask questions. I just sat with her until the rain stopped. When she finally stood up to leave, she whispered so softly I almost missed it. "Thank you." And that was the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Elena stayed on the edges of every room. She ate lunch alone. She avoided group work. If someone bumped into her in the hallway, she apologized even when it wasn't her fault. The teachers didn't know what to do with her. The students didn't care enough to try. But I kept watching. Not in a creepy way, but in the way you watch someone who seems like they're drowning silently. One day I found her sitting behind the gym, wrapping her arm with her sleeve in a suspiciously careful way. When she saw me, she quickly pulled the fabric down. "Elena, what happened to your arm?" "Nothing." Her voice trembled. "I saw bruises," I said softly. She froze. "You didn't." "Elena, stop, please." Her voice cracked. "I don't want to talk about it." I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. But the words slipped out anyway. "I feel sorry for you." Her head snapped up. Her eyes filled with fury and pain all at once. "Don't say that," she whispered. "Don't ever say that." I was stunned. "I didn't mean—" "I don't need pity." She backed away. "I just need people to leave me alone." And she walked away. For the first time, I realized something important. Whatever was hurting her, she didn't want anyone to see it. A few days later, I found something that shattered everything I thought I knew. We had an in-class essay, and Elena left early because she felt sick. When she stood up, a small black one notebook slipped from her bag, unnoticed. I shouldn't have picked it up, I know that, but I did. I intended to return it untouched. But when I held it, it fell open, pages fluttering, revealing scribbles, sketches, and words that chilled me. "Nobody hears me. Nobody wants me. Nobody knows what happens at home. Maybe if I disappeared, things would be easier." Dad always said I was worthless. My stomach twisted. This wasn't just sadness. This was pain spoken onto paper, a silent scream in ink. I quickly closed the notebook, ashamed for having seen something so personal. But I also knew I couldn't ignore it. That was the first night I couldn't sleep. The next day I waited for her after class. "Elena," I said, holding out the notebook, "you dropped this." She froze completely. Her breathing shortened. Did you read anything? I shook my head. Another lie. She stared at me for a long moment, suspicious, frightened, uncertain. Her fingers trembled as she took the notebook. Thank you, she whispered. Then she hurried away. I thought that was the end of it. I thought she'd ignore me like before. But that afternoon she found me by my locker. You didn't have to return it, she murmured. Most people wouldn't have bothered. I would, I said. Her eyes softened for the first time. Why? I opened my mouth, but no answer came. Why did I care? Why her? Because she felt like a puzzle missing pieces. Because she looked like someone trying not to fall apart. Because something about her loneliness called to me. I just worry, I said honestly. Her lips trembled. Don't. I don't want people to worry. Elena, I said gently, you don't have to go through everything alone. She looked away, eyes filling with tears she refused to let fall. You don't understand, she whispered. If people knew the truth, they would hate me. No, I said firmly. They would help you. She shook her head violently. You don't know him. You don't know what he'll do. Who? I asked softly. She faltered, and that silence told me everything. Her father. 2 weeks later, everything fell apart. It was almost 9 at night when my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. It's Elena. Please, help me. My heart dropped. I called her instantly and she whispered, breathless and terrified, he's coming back home drunk. He's angry. I don't know where to go. Where are you right now? I demanded. In the forest behind the old highway, she said, near the broken fence. You shouldn't be alone there. I couldn't stay in the house. I'm coming. I grabbed my jacket and ran, not thinking, not caring about anything except reaching her. The forest was dark. The air was cold. When I found her, she was curled under a tree, hugging her knees, shivering uncontrollably. Elena, I whispered, kneeling beside her. She startled, then burst into silent tears as she collapsed into my arms. For the first time, she didn't pretend to be strong. She didn't pretend to be fine. She just cried, broken, exhausted, terrified. And holding her, I realized something. I feel sorry for her had been the wrong phrase all along. She didn't need pity. She needed love, safety, support. Someone who cared enough to show up. Someone who wouldn't walk away. We sat there for nearly an hour until her breathing steadied. Elena, I said softly, you can't go back there. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You can stay with someone, report him, get help. She shook her head. He'll deny everything. He always does. And no one ever believes me. I believe you, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. Why? She whispered. Because I've seen the bruises. I've seen your pain. And I've seen how hard you try to hide it. She buried her face in her hands. I'm so tired, she cried. I'm so tired of being scared. My chest tightened. You don't have to be scared anymore, I said. Let me help you. She looked up slowly, and for the first time, hope flickered in her eyes. Maybe tiny, maybe weak, but real. Okay, she whispered, and that one word changed everything. The next week was a whirlwind. My mother, who worked as a nurse, contacted Child Protective Services. Elena was placed with a temporary foster family while the investigation continued. Her father faced charges. Her caseworker arranged counseling for her. She started opening up. Not quickly, not perfectly, but piece by piece. Some days she smiled a little. Some days she trembled when she heard loud voices. Some days she cried without explaining why. But she wasn't alone anymore. I saw her every day after school. We studied together, took walks together. Sometimes we sat in silence, but even the silence felt hopeful. And slowly, she began to bloom. One day, months later, she laughed. A real laugh. Soft, warm, beautiful. It was the first time I'd ever heard it, and I realized how much strength was hidden in her fragile-seeming frame. She wasn't weak. She wasn't broken. She was surviving, and somehow she trusted me to walk beside her. One evening, while we sat at the park watching the sunset, she said quietly, "You know, when you said you felt sorry for me, I hated it." I winced. "I know, I'm sorry." "You shouldn't be. She looked at me gently. I understand now. You didn't mean pity. You meant you cared. I did, I said softly. I still do. She smiled faintly. I know. I hesitated, then asked, why did you choose to message me that night? Her answer broke me. Because, she whispered, you were the only person who made me feel seen. We sat in silence, the sky turning shades of gold and purple. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and I felt a warmth I'd never experienced before. A warmth that said, she was healing. She was safe. She was no longer drowning. Maybe she still had storms inside her, but now she didn't face them alone. It has been nearly a year since that night in the forest. Elena now lives with a kind foster family who adore her. She is doing better in school. She paints again, her artwork full of soft colors and blooming flowers. She smiles often. She laughs freely,